Have you ever wondered why some people are able to amass wealth while others continue to struggle with seemingly endless debt and expenses? This happens because you never had the opportunity to acquire financial knowledge at school and, throughout your life, you have been oblivious to the complexities of money. In this video, get ready for a journey of discovery in which I will uncover the secrets about how money really operates, going beyond mere economics. For the Stoics, money is a tool that can be used to improve the quality of our lives and those around us, as long as it is used sensibly, humbly, and in accordance with our ethical principles. Let's delve deeper into the world of personal finance, entrepreneurship, and much more. I, as the wise Stoic, will share a wealth of wisdom with you. Are you ready to change your perspective on money? Stay tuned, as this is a conversation you won't want to miss. Ike Batista, the former Brazilian billionaire, was once ranked as one of the 10 richest people in the world, but saw his fortune, which at one point was estimated at $30 billion, evaporate in 2013 due to the country's economic crisis. Batista had to declare bankruptcy and began to consider himself part of the middle class. The businessman lost cars, homes, control of his companies, and several other properties. This leads us to question why many of our actions and motivations in life are linked to an uncontrollable desire to accumulate money when, in fact, the big problem seems to be our ability to manage it. Here is a valuable lesson: money is an excellent servant but a terrible master. Learn to dominate it, or it will dominate you. We are currently facing the highest credit card debt in history. Debt is an invisible burden carried by the country's most vulnerable people. Of course, this isn't everyone's reality, but stop to consider your own relationship with money and how it manifests in your life. What does money represent to you? How long does it stay in your hands when you receive it? He is likely to escape quickly, which puts him in a vulnerable position, making him susceptible to get-rich-quick schemes and miraculous promises from gurus if you buy their courses. While my channel generally focuses on topics like Stoicism, it's important to discuss financial matters from time to time. I've already produced a video about money covering how the Stoics deal with it, and you can find it above in the card after you finish watching this video. I realize that our perceptions about money are sometimes more crucial than our ability to earn it, especially when our own brains are wired in ways that prevent us from achieving true financial freedom. It doesn't matter if you're earning more than 6 figures a year, if by the end of this year you have nothing left in your account. That doesn't make sense. It's time to unravel this mystery and adopt a more sensible approach to money. Remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. This is fundamental. Gratitude for that. The truth is that we were taught to earn money and spend it immediately. In reality, the ideal would be to earn money, invest some, save, and only then spend. Now, reflect on what money represents when you make a purchase on eBay or when you are paid for your time at work. What is the meaning of money in these situations? Money is often seen as a medium of exchange, an instrument that facilitates the purchase, sale, or exchange of goods between parties. However, I believe this does not encompass the true meaning of money. I think the best way to understand money is to see it as an expression of value. You hand over a certain amount of money to purchase something because you recognize that the value of that item is equivalent to the amount you paid. Of course, price is often not determined by you as an individual, but by the market as a whole. However, focus on this point: money equals value. Why is this so relevant? Because we often attribute moral meaning to money. You may have heard the quote that money is the root of all evil. We observe someone who appears to have great wealth and assume that this person has been lucky in life or has acted dishonestly. We think that someone had to lose so that someone else could win, and we never consider that the person generated value to acquire that money. Understanding that making a lot of money requires creating a lot of value is the best way to realize that money is not inherently evil and does not make a person evil. The Stoics remind us that the true meaning of money lies not in the accumulation of material wealth, but rather in skill. To use it wisely to achieve a more virtuous life. There are individuals who will try to persuade you that what they are selling is valuable, but this reflects more on the person than on the money itself. Money simply expands your possibilities and expands your horizons. The choices you make with your money are intrinsically related to your own moral convictions. If someone becomes arrogant when they acquire a considerable amount of money, it is because they already possessed this characteristic from the beginning. He never expressed it, but now, with money, that facet of his personality has been amplified. If someone is humble without money, they will remain humble even with money in their pocket, as money only enhances their true nature. Now, how does this affect the reality of someone who lives paycheck to paycheck or is mired in credit card debt? The mere mention of money as a value does not change the situation. I can help you adopt a different perspective on money, but to offer practical advice, I need to ask another question. What is your relationship with money? Money comes in and out of your life. This relationship is often manifested through your income and expenses. Another practical way of expressing this relationship, which I personally appreciate, is its production compared to its consumption. For most of us, money comes into our lives because we produce some type of value, often linked to work, like a job. Money comes out when we consume things like Netflix subscriptions, a new car, a house, travel, and other expenses. We can look at someone's net worth as a metric to assess their relationship between consumption and production. Take a moment and reflect on all the money that has come in and out of your life. How much of that money do you still have today, or how much did you invest? Do you think this relationship is balanced, or does it need adjustments? There is likely room for improvement in both aspects. For most of us, the main challenge lies in our consumption pattern. A study reveals that 88% of workers spend their entire salary. Furthermore, it was found that among workers earning $100,000 or more per year, 1 in 10 also spends their entire salary. One could argue that someone who earns 6 figures a year might still want to earn more. However, when someone earns considerably more than the average salary and still spends it all, it becomes clear that the relationship with consumption needs to be adjusted before seeking more financial gains. This is illustrated by wealthy celebrities who sometimes declare bankruptcy. They show us that earning a lot of money is not enough when dealing with rampant and self-destructive consumption. It is important to understand that it is not the amount of work that will lead you to earn a lot of money, but rather working effectively and generating value. Instead of selling your time, selling a product is more efficient as your time is limited while the products you sell can be unlimited. The real financial trap is to constantly live on the edge, on the verge of bankruptcy, with the feeling that money disappears as soon as it enters your life. The more responsibilities you take on, the more dangerous this situation becomes. A job loss, an unexpected health problem, or any unforeseen circumstance can put your financial situation at risk. The first step to organizing your finances is to become aware of your relationship with money, usually done by recording your monthly expenses, writing down everything from rent, transportation, food, clothes, entertainment, and so on. Based on the principles of Stoicism, we must adopt a careful and rational approach to our finances, avoiding waste and impulsive desires for material goods. We must cultivate prudence, save and invest responsibly, prioritizing long-term value over instant pleasure. By doing so, we can achieve financial stability that will not only provide us with peace of mind, but also allow us to direct our resources towards what really matters in our lives, such as our personal growth, our relationships, and our contribution to well-being of society. There is a tendency to prefer short-term rewards as opposed to larger rewards in the future. We often choose to purchase a new pair of shoes instead of saving that money for a future investment, even though most of the time we don't actually need new shoes. We do this simply to impress people we don't even like. When we see people around us shopping, we end up following the same path just to avoid the feeling of being left behind. For example, when a neighbor buys a new car, we feel we should do the same. When we see people around us shopping, we end up following the same path just to avoid the feeling of being left behind. For example, when a neighbor buys a new car, we feel we should do the same. When people buy expensive clothes, we feel the need to do the same. If someone renovates the house, we also join the same race in an attempt to impress or just to keep up with others. In this scenario, this social pressure is not limited to literal neighbors, but is much more present and widespread. We are all vulnerable to seeking social approval. It's not that we care deeply about what other people think of us, but the problem lies in how we measure our self-esteem by the number of likes and approval we receive on social media. It is important to emphasize that I am not saying that buying an expensive piece of clothing, jewelry, or a new car is a bad thing, nor am I making judgments about consumption itself. The objective of this text is not to philosophize about the consequences of a materialist view of the world. Instead, it aims to draw attention to who you are as a consumer. The central question is whether you care more about appearing rich than actually having financial stability. It is important to be careful, as the search for an image of apparent wealth can, in reality, lead to financial poverty. The rat race isn't just about working 8 to 5 at a job, it's a lifetime of relentlessly chasing after things, be it a salary or material possessions, to such an extent that your true goals and quality of life are put second. Flat. To continue in this race, you often sacrifice your greatest life purposes. If you want to escape this race, it is essential to recognize that although it is exciting to talk about making money and imagining great wealth, it is all meaningless when your relationship with money as a consumer leads to the loss of everything or the need to work tirelessly to achieve it. Sustain an unsustainable lifestyle. This is the real rat race. That said, now let's delve a little deeper into how to make money and explore opportunities. Although the personal finance channels that exist here on YouTube are excellent for learning how to invest your money, they generally focus on reducing expenses and investing as early as possible. However, one area I wish they covered more is the ability to increase your income. I understand why this isn't emphasized as much, as it's easier to reduce expenses than increase income, especially when targeting a wide audience. It is often a strategic choice to provide advice that will work for most people. The common strategy is to live extremely frugally, saving every penny possible and investing as early as possible with the goal of retiring as early as possible. Minimalists also share a similar vision, although mainly based on philosophical positions on the world and materialism. For the most part, rich and wise people promote strategies that fall along the spectrum of living small, saving considerably, and investing for the long term. There is nothing wrong with this strategy, as it mainly works for people who make money like them. However, being honest, these people do not need to cut back on small luxuries or adopt a more economical lifestyle, since they earn millions of reais per month. These people are operating on a mass production scale. The key is to identify a niche market, develop a solution to a problem, and commercialize that solution on a large scale. This is the entrepreneurial path that a successful large-scale company follows to create significant value for society, causing its productive part to grow exponentially compared to a conventional job. However, this is not a path that everyone can or should follow. It is essential to reflect on your own skills and determine whether entrepreneurship is the most appropriate direction. With that in mind, to increase your income, don't just rely on your current salary. Look for a way to establish a second source of income. There is a point where you can make this your main occupation and build a business around it. We have reached the end of this journey, and I sincerely hope this advice has been helpful to you. Don't forget to activate the notification bell. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel. To the next.